Life is like a hurricane.
Oh, Lambo, stop. You can't sing that. We're going to get sued.
Why not?
We don't have the song licensed. It's
Oh.
owned by somebody else.
Is that important?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, licensing is a big thing.
Look at most of the internet.
Okay, I don't have an argument for that because we're on the internet.
Indeed.
Welcome to Nerdstrodamus. We're here for another episode, and today we're talking about
Licensed games.
licensed games. So, Lambo, for the people at home who may not know what we're talking about, what is a licensed game?
A licensed game is when, honestly, we take some kind of a franchise or some kind of intellectual property that exists out there in the world, and we center a video game around it. Now, the form that they take has changed throughout time. Lots and lots of actually AAA games, if you go back far enough, were honestly licensed games based on famous movie properties, famous comic book characters,
Famous cartoons?
famous cartoons,
A la
and
the song Lambo serenaded us with in the beginning.
yeah, owned by the Big D. Disney is, I know, right? Disney actually has a nice stranglehold on all their stuff.
It's true, and they keep getting a hold on more and more properties.
Indeed.
Now that they have Marvel and
Star Wars. But licensed games are honestly a huge part of the video game backdrop, the video game framework that we look at.
Not even that, but a lot of licensed video games, if you go back and check it out, they're actually a big part of the history of the industry. And we can talk about that later because there's some big ones that help the industry or even nearly destroyed it.
You know what we're talking about.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Here we have another little quiz game that Lambo and I are going to play. If you saw the other episode, we showed each other game covers where we tried to guess the title. This time we're going to be showing each other screenshots from licensed games from across the video game timeline. And we each have to guess what the game is and or the property. All right, so you ready?
Yes.
You ready? Here is the first screenshot for you, Lambo.
Oh, whew.
What game is it?
Welcome here. This is a warp zone. All right, let's play 20 questions. Is it a movie, a cartoon, or the comic book?
It's a movie.
It's a movie. Is it a horror film?
No.
Oh, goodness. Is it a kid's movie?
It could be argued that it's a kid's movie.
Oh, wow. There's an old guy, creepy room. It's not Cube. That would be an awful, awful video game.
What's Cube?
I will show you.
All right.
Some creepy guy, staff. Any hints?
It's. I picked this one because I don't get it. I don't know how this is tied into the movie.
Oh, of course. What is it?
What is it?
Yeah.
It is the Goonies 2 on the NES.
Oh, of course. I'm so stupid.
All right.
Goonies 2. Oh, so.
So you want me to just do the first one that's up there for me then?
Mm-hmm.
Which is this one?
Yes.
I'm okay. So.
Yeah. You can play 20 questions back.
Is it based on a movie?
It's based on a movie.
Is it based on a movie I've seen?
Yes.
You know I've seen this?
Yeah.
I have a guess already. Is it Darkman?
Why would you say that?
Because it's a dude in a trench coat who looks like he's all bandaged up in the hat. Is it Darkman?
It's a Darkman video game.
Is it a Darkman?
There was a Darkman video game.
Oh man! Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Because literally every movie, regardless of its rating, whatever, if you go back to like the NES era, you're gonna find basically a game for almost everything.
Speaking of, here's your next one.
Oh.
It's really ambiguous, isn't it?
Yeah. It's the cop movie. I'm gonna throw out Lethal Weapon.
It's Lethal Weapon on the Super Nintendo.
Oh yeah.
Very good. Very good, my friend. All right.
That was,
Let's check
goodness.
my next one.
Is it Riggs? Is that his name?
Yeah, it was Riggs.
I'm Riggs. Yeah.
Riggs. Okay, so this one we've got. It's some kind of fighter pilot simulator.
Indeed.
Based on what's there in the top of the screenshot, I'm gonna take a guess and say it's Independence Day.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is that on? Is that
It's the PS1.
It's the PS1. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
PS1 era.
Okay. This one I didn't know it existed.
Mm-hmm. Is this real?
Yeah, it's totally real.
Checks. Is this one of those like? Okay, so there were a lot of these. Was this one of those like weird games that like you would buy a box of cereal and the disc was in the box?
I don't know if it came in the box of cereal.
I'm sure it did. Looking at this,
I can tell you that this game won awards.
Oh no!
It won
for being free.
No. It actually won awards in advertising.
Oh,
yeah.
That's so
And
weird.
apparently it plays just like Doom.
It looks like it does. I mean, I bet you they stole the. I mean, they stole the HUD. They stole.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do you have a guess on what it's called? It is in fact.
Spoonful of tears.
No, it's just called Chex Quest.
Chex Quest.
Yeah, look at that cover.
That's epic.
It is epic. I didn't know it existed until a little while ago, and I had to use it.
Oh wow. So, your next one is right here, and this is a gimme.
It is a gimme because I own this game and I played this game. If you can't tell from that figure in the snazzy white suit.
Can you do one of the sound effects?
Woo! That's this game is Michael Jackson's Moonwalker.
Mm-hmm.
Which
allows you to play through several of his music videos, I guess.
Yeah, between like Smooth Criminal and Beat It. You could turn into a giant robot in that game.
What?
And you were trying to rescue children. With the help of your monkey bubbles.
It's so strange.
Yeah. Here's another one. I hope you get this. I so hope you get this.
Oh. Is it the Pepsi Man game?
It is totally the Pepsi Man game.
Oh God. So Pepsi Man, if you're not, just Google it, just YouTube it, and watch some weird stuff from Japan. Okay, and I'll give you this one as your last one.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's on the Game Boy, right?
Yup.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Is it based on a Bond film?
That's a trick question. No.
Is it just James Bond on the Game Boy?
Yeah.
Oh. You know, the only reason is because it looks a little like Odd Job.
It is Odd Job.
Oh, it is Odd Job.
I mean, they made him really big, so you could actually like make him look like Odd Job.
Yeah. So the next one I have for you, I'm going to show you the screenshot, and I'm going to show you the cover.
And both aren't going to be able to help me?
I want you to tell me what product or franchise is licensed in this game.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the screenshot. There's a screenshot. Don't swipe.
Okay. What franchise?
Because here I'll show you the cover.
Okay. Has the cover blacked out?
No, you can have the title.
Oh, okay.
So this is Darkened Sky
Yeah.
on the GameCube.
I've heard of it.
Can you tell me what this game was made for? What company wanted their product licensed in it? Don't swipe. Don't swipe. Don't
Can I
swipe.
swipe backwards?
No.
No. Can I swipe the other? No.
No,
Okay.
because it'll give it away.
Oh, what company? A new hero.
Or item. What company or item is being advertised in this game? Oh, it's gonna blow your mind.
Scott Tissue.
What's on the bottom? What's on the bottom there?
Skittles? No.
It was in fact Skittles, because you find things such as the Orange Artifact. The game was a third-person action RPG where the main character got magic powers
From Skittles.
from Skittles.
The more you know.
The more you know. Yeah, that one blew my mind. I had no idea. I had seen that game in GameStops a million times back in like the 2000s. No
clue.
idea. Wow. No idea it was Skittle-based.
Wow. Licensed games have, like I said, taken on many forms throughout the years. The one thing I kind of want to focus on, though, is a little bit of how they changed. So if you go back to the NES, Super NES era, you would find licensed games everywhere. And not only would you find them everywhere, you would find them with very positive review scores next to their titles. You would find them on the covers of gaming magazines, even games that today people would kind of shrug off as being like a money grab or something like that.
Yeah, if they made one today, no one would scramble out to the stores to get the home improvement game.
Oh, goodness. Oh, wow.
It was a side scroller.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, that's like the equivalent of making like a Big Bang Theory video game, which totally would have happened like 1,000
Are we sure
times.
it hasn't? I mean, is there not a Big Bang video game out there somewhere to download?
Maybe.
Maybe. I
There's
mean,
a board game.
There's Clue.
There's Clue.
Yeah, but you're right. But I remember playing a lot of those licensed games when I was a kid, and I've gone back recently and played some of them. One of my favorites, and it's a crappy licensed game because it's from a movie no one ever saw, and it was Dinosaur City.
Uh-huh.
Which was a movie about these kids going to this alternate world where dinosaurs were like the dumbest species. It's a
Are you talking about the Super Mario Brothers movie?
you.
Uh-huh.
No, it was a different kind of thing, and the video game was awesome because you picked one of two characters to play as who were like kids who rode on top of these like anthropomorphic dinosaurs, and it was a platformer and it was fun and I loved it. But like that, if something like that happened today, just no one's gonna go out and buy that.
No.
But that might have to do with also the development period of games and everything. Back in the day, I mean, we brought this up before. How long did it take to make Donkey Kong Country?
About 3 months.
Right. How long does it take to make most good AAA games nowadays?
A year or more.
A year or more. But with licensed games, like a lot of companies will go out and they'll say to a video game company, like if it's a movie, the studio will go out and say, hey, we want a game with this movie. You've got 6 months to make it. Or maybe close to a year, but still, to make a really good video game based on a movie, you need more time.
Yeah.
So that might be why there's been like a decline, because nowadays there's like this stigma attached to licensed games that they're not good.
Yeah, if you go back to the NES era, a couple classics that stick out in my mind, and they are actually very good. We have Back to the Future.
Yeah.
It's always considered a classic side-scrolling game. Some gameplay. And the other one is the DuckTales game, of course.
DuckTales was so good.
Yeah.
It recently got remade.
Remastered.
Yeah, it got remastered, and it's still good. But but it was Capcom who made that game, and they did a great job. The DuckTales game. Also on the NES, actually most of the Disney ones were great. I had the Tailspin one. I really liked that. That was a lot of fun. It was like a side-scrolling shooter. And then the Chippendales game.
Oh,
The
yeah,
Rescue
absolutely.
Ranger.
Oh, that was such a good game.
That was such a good game.
Yeah. So Disney and LucasArts were actually two of the companies that made their own companies, and they actually produced a lot of their own games, especially on the Super Nintendo and the PlayStation era. So you can honestly, if you go play any of them in that time span, the Lion King game, the Aladdin games, both for the
Super Nintendo
and the Genesis,
which are different.
Yeah, they're very different, but they're both great in their own way.
A lot of Star Wars games were really good too. You brought up LucasArts. I mean, on the Super Nintendo, Super Star Wars, Super Empire, Super Return of the Jedi, like they were all really good.
Actually, Star Wars has a continuing tradition all the way up through. So some classic PC games,
like TIE Fighter and X-Wing. And
Jedi Knight, Dark Forces 2,
yeah,
Jedi Outcast, all the way up to now.
But now, okay, so that brings up an interesting point though about licensed games, because the ones you're bringing up aren't necessarily tied to a specific movie or anything.
Exactly.
They're licensed from a franchise, but they're kind of branching off. Whereas a lot of the licensed games that tend to not be so great nowadays are the ones that are focused on a movie.
Yeah.
Like the Iron Man game that was on the Xbox 360 or the Iron Man 2 game that was on 360.
I forgot they even existed.
Because no one played them. But nonetheless, like those two are not that great when it comes to video games. Like they're mediocre, and I'm sure somebody had fun with them. But like they're not well regarded.
Yeah, they're not broken. They're not anything like that. But unfortunately, I think a lot of consumers look at it. They feel like a money grab.
They feel like a money grab. Could they feel hollow?
Yeah.
And that might have to do with the time constraints again. But that brings up my point though, that when you have it based on a movie, like a specific movie, something happens. But when you get a licensed game that's just based on a franchise, a lot of times it can do really well, and that extends up to now because we've had the Arkham series for Batman.
And I was going to say the Arkham series is the perfect one to kind of compare. You compare the Arkham Asylum, Arkham City. You compare those kind of games to say like the Wreck-It Ralph video game, and stuff like that. Like there's nothing wrong with the Wreck-It Ralph video game. It works. It plays well. Kids and it's geared towards kids.
But it's not going to get the hype, and it's not going to win the awards like the Arkham series did. So the difference comes down to, is it based on an actual movie or is it just based on a franchise? Because a lot of games based on franchises do really well.
Yeah, and it depends then how much freedom that the game company is given to work with as well. So we should actually talk about a couple of our favorites. Going back.
Okay, so a couple of our favorite licensed video games.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring up one that both of us love. And this is probably, I'm going to say it's the best movie licensed video game of all time.
It may be.
You know what I'm talking about? GoldenEye 007. A licensed video game, a game based on a movie that was so good. It's still like so well regarded nowadays.
Yeah, and a lot of people say that it hasn't, aged well. I actually think it totally has. Most of the modern things that we enjoy about our shooters are in it. Sneaking around, there's a little bit of stealth. There's a little bit of
multiple ways to get to objectives and things like that.
Yeah, just the fact that there were objectives in general, that's kind of awesome. Another one to jump forward to the PS2 era.
Okay.
The Lord of the Rings games came out.
Not the first one.
No.
Not Fellowship of the Ring, but
Two Towers, and afterwards.
And Return of the King.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were really good. Nice co-op hack and slash games. Yeah, they were a lot of fun.
Yeah, and they're the kind of thing we don't even see that often anymore.
No, you don't.
They kind of get relegated. Those kind of games get relegated to like indie game or download game status, unfortunately now.
Yeah. Another one of mine. I actually rented this multiple times when I was a kid. Was the Lion King game. You brought it up. You brought it up. The Disney games were great. And the Lion King one, like, the music was awesome. There were a lot of really fun levels in it. It was bright. It was colorful.
Yeah. You remember it being bright and colorful because you probably got stuck on the Can't Wait to Be King level, right?
No, I eventually beat it.
You eventually did.
Yeah.
But it took you 1,000 years to beat like a 3-minute level.
Yeah. One last thing I wanted to bring up about licensed video games is there are 2 points in the video game history that are punctuated by licensed games. Number one is the video game crash in the 80s, right? Yeah, it was a video game crash of the 80s. And we all know what caused it. What was it?
There's an entire documentary about it. E.T.
It's E.T. on the Atari. If you've never played this game, don't. It's terrible.
Or do it and post some gameplay footage and get 10,000 views. Because whatever.
Yeah. If you don't know the story behind this game, it was rushed. I don't even know what the development time on it was. It was ridiculously low, and the people developing it had no idea like what was even going on in the movie. So you play as E.T. finding pieces of a phone being chased by a government agent. You have to fall down holes and then float back up by extending your neck. It's terrible. And it was so bad, it almost destroyed the video game industry in the 80s. And all the unsold copies got buried in the desert.
And it used to be like an urban legend, and of course the film, they totally dig them all up and find them.
There was a recent documentary. They went and they found them all. Yeah. Another thing I wanted to bring up, though, was the revival of the video game industry after that was a lot of thanks to Nintendo. And Nintendo, one of their early games was a licensed video game. They helped to publish the Popeye video game, which was a really, really cool arcade game. You played as Popeye, you rescued Olive Oyl from Bluto, all that. They actually wanted to make a game, another version of the game, and release it, but they actually couldn't get the licenses for Popeye, like all the characters. So you know what it became?
Donkey Kong?
It became Donkey Kong. So right there, we have another licensed game that leads to almost a revival, because Donkey Kong's the start of that Nintendo era when video games came back. So as much as we can say that licensed games may have their problems and whatnot, we have a lot to be thankful for. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share. And hey, post some comments below about your favorite licensed video games or some notorious licensed video games that you loved or hated, something about that. But we really hope you enjoyed this episode. Stay tuned for some other time. We'll probably be back.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, click subscribe. Also check below for the links to our Facebook page, Twitter, and blog. Check back often. We'll be posting new videos weekly.